Thanks for joining us. We're getting you conversations from the Mumbai First event, which is looking at making Mumbai into a world-class mega city. And joining us now to talk about this is Mr. Roger Perera, who's the Vice Chairman of Bombay First. Mr. Perera, great to talk to you this morning. Thanks for your time. So I know, yes, we are discussing a lot of infrastructure issues and civic issues within Mumbai in the conference. But let me start with a broader question. What really is the agenda before Bombay First? What are you thinking of as you are putting this conference together?
Sure. I'd like to make a small correction to what you said in your introduction. The idea just now is that would be too ambitious to make Mumbai a mega city, but the idea is to first catch up with the other mega cities of the world. And that will be phase two, making it a mega city afterwards.
Sure.
So essentially, let's face it, about 34 to 40% of the income generated in this country comes from the city. Okay, all right. There are a few anomalies. For example, Tata Steel is in Jamshedpur, but the tax is counted out of here. There are a few, but there will be for every company like that. But nothing comes back. That is the worst part, And whoever has been in charge of the city has no real loyalty to the city. I hate to say this, but the fact is that people have looked at the city as an opportunity to develop other things, other cities, other small towns, etc. But nothing comes back, and that's why this city has decayed.
And you said whoever is in charge of the city, do we even
I'm
know
being
who's
diplomatic.
in charge? We wish we knew who's in charge.
I know, but I don't know if Narendra mentioned this to you, but we're working very hard on having someone in charge. Because there are the plethora of agencies that are supposed to work. But we're looking not just at infrastructure. Infrastructure is very important, but the recent Eastern Freeway is an example of how, if everyone works together, things can be done at super fast speed, And that's a model, and we hope that will be replicated in all the future projects that are happening and are planned for Mumbai. Let's face it, there are people who say that, there should be no reclamation. Whilst it's true, there shouldn't be mindless reclamation, but there can be reclamation that is in conformity with nature, that does not disturb the environment or the ecological factors. Like, for example, the new airport that the Dutch have proposed on an island. Because there we'll have 3 runways instead of the 2 runways that are proposed in the current place. That will be outdated even before it starts.
Absolutely. As with much of
no
infrastructure
international
that's
airport
built,
can be a runway, and it's going to be 40% of the cost of those 2 runway airport. No one will be dishoused. And it'll be a greenfield project.
Yes.
And they have worked it out, and I see no reason why the government shouldn't accept that. But apart from infrastructure, and I'm going to read my notes because this is what we put out in my recent newsletter. We work for infrastructure, we work at healthcare, we work education, affordable housing, environment, governance, security, smart city concept, and making Mumbai the financial center of the country. So there are 9 verticals that we're working on. What we really do is we are the catalyst. We are not a chamber of commerce, so we don't have an unlimited source of funds. So we've got to raise money each time. Narendra, myself, Ashank, Nandan, we all work pro bono. And Narendra devotes probably 110% of his time. I do about 60, except for the last 3 weeks, it's been 100%, but about 60%. And each one of us puts in a huge chunk of our time. And we're investing it. Why? Because we're concerned. What we really do is work with the government in the respective departments. Say it's the environment. We work with the Environment Ministry. Bring in private sector inputs so that plans for the environment for the city, and I don't just mean Mumbai city, I mean MMR, the entire Mumbai metropolitan region. And in some cases, like in education, for the whole state, and how we should take it forward.
Sure.
So that, it's tough, but I have to say that we get great people helping us. We have Anand Mahendra on our side, we have Deepak Parekh on our side, we have Jamshed Godrej on our side, and each one contributes their valuable time. Jerry Rao in affordable housing.
Do you now find any change coming in the manner in which different civic agencies are sort of going about their business, or even in your interactions? Because the average Mumbaiker, I think, has almost given up on the city. He's resigned himself to his life, which is far below a dignified civic life, as it should be in any decent city. So
And I don't blame them. And I don't blame them,
In your interactions, yes.
We have today good people, committed people, as the Chief Minister, as the Municipal Commissioner, as the Chief Secretary, as the Police Commissioner. So all the right people are in place. And if we don't take advantage today, we've lost it forever. I think this is very critical, which is why a chap like me is spending so much time, Otherwise, poor Narendra was fighting this battle all by himself. To some extent, I think Bombay First is also to blame, because in between, till Vittal Palekar took over, Bombay First went to sleep. Like all the decision makers of Bombay went to sleep, But Vittal Palekar, and then he brought in Narendra, and they worked tirelessly, and that's how Ashank and myself, and now Nandan has come on board.
So let me ask you this final question. 2014, what are the 2 or 3 most critical points of the big agenda that you'll push forward?
It has to be infrastructure.
Okay.
It has to be education. It has to be healthcare. It has to be environment. It has to be affordable housing.
All 9.
It has to be all 9.
Right.
And we cannot afford to exclude security, because, in fact, that's after 26/11 is when I found Narendra working all alone, and I was on the verge of my annual trip to New York, and I cancelled it when I saw him working all alone. I said, look, I can help because I have friends in New York, I have friends in London who can come and join us and share with us their expertise. And since then, I've been hooked.
Thank you so much for your time, and all the best with all the efforts.
Thank you so much.